from the cannons. When the smoke clears, we're still standing. Yes, we stand our ground.
You're listening to Everlasting Veteran.
When the smoke clears.
Welcome, everybody, to Everlasting Veteran. I am your host, Ryan Landry, also known as Wind Talker. I have Sergeant Big Country here on Everlasting Veteran, an amazing veteran and human being through and through, and I'm excited to have him on. Big Country, kind of go into your military career a little bit and your journey, your transitions, and what was going on.
Yeah, man. First of all, thank you for having me on the show. Really appreciate that. Man, military journey. I get honest to say, man, I think my military journey started back in high school. ROTC. Back Brooklyn Casey High School, Columbia, South Carolina. First year ROTC and just really climbed. That's where I really seen that the knack that I thought I've had, before for the military just really kicked in. Learned how to march, cadence calling. We went to little mini camps and stuff like that. Got leadership medals from the governor of South Carolina. And if I had stayed at Brooklyn Casey High School, I would have been the first junior command sergeant major of the entire school. Which they had never done, but they seen what was there. But really didn't enter until July 6th, July 26, 2006. Basic training went to Fort Knox. Did AIT at Aberdeen Proving Grounds for generator mechanics. Did a year reserves here in Charlotte. And 2008. January 3rd, 2008, we landed in Germany for our active duty, first active duty station. Was with the 172nd Infantry Brigade, 57th Signal Company. Apparently the only generator mechanic that knew their job in the entire brigade, so I ended up working on everybody's stuff, not just my units, but everybody's stuff. So I got well known really, really quick. We deployed with that unit to Iraq, 08 through 10. 5 Cal Sioux, kind of right there in the middle of the country, right off of Tampa. Really didn't like the spot, man, because Tampa set up high and our fob set down low. So it was like an everyday occurrence. You hear tires squealing and people jumping out of the car trying to pop off a couple of mortars because you could see everything.
Right, yeah.
But got through the deployment, came home, PCS to Fort Lee, Virginia. Was able to get a lot of military schools done there. Went to Fort Bragg for WLC and stuff like that. And I think we only spent like 13, 14 months there. And then went to Fort Riley, Kansas. My career pretty much took off. I got promoted to sergeant within 6 months of being there, and got any NCO knows once you hit that E5 rank, man, they flood you with classes. They're ready for you to take over certain positions that other NCOs have been doing for a certain period of time and whatnot, and really enjoyed my time there. Had a lot of amazing soldiers up underneath my command. I was a hazmat NCOIC. I got a degree in hazmat. The only soldier on Fort Riley to keep 100% on their civilian checks when it comes to the motor pool for 7.5 months. No other soldiers had their motor pool that clean that long ever on Fort Riley. So I was pretty proud of that, man. Motor pools get nasty, get dirty, and soldiers don't clean up very well. So you got to keep things at a standard, and we kept it above standard. January 7th, 2014, I was on my way to get my guys lunch and hit black ice on Trooper Drive and fell off a 150-foot ravine and crushed both my legs. Lost the left one above the knee. The right leg between the knee and the ankle has 30 screws, 4 plates, and a 10-inch rod in it. Can't feel my right foot. Can't use my toes to balance. Uh, so they sent us to the Audie Murphy VA on my 34th birthday to get down with the WTU unit at Fort Sam Houston to attend the CFI and got medically retired.
That's an amazing story. What what was it like, and what were the doctors telling you, when you started going through your recovery? Because obviously now, I mean, you're a professional athlete. Um, we talked before where the doctors pretty much told you like that's not even an option. So what was going through your mind as you were healing and trying to get yourself right? The mindset, your physical abilities, and pushing yourself to where you are now is a very inspiring story. What was your mindset like going through that when the doctors told you you're not going to be able to walk again?
Well, I mean, before that was even said, after you finally wake up from everything, because it took me about a month after the accident before I actually started actually remembering things again from not being, on nerve blockers and then keeping you so doped up on everything because of surgeries. Man, first thoughts were, what am I going to do with my kids? You know, how am I going to run around in the yard with my kids? How am I going to go fishing? How am I going to go hunting? How am I going to do this, that, and the other? Things that you normally take for granted on a normal day life. Not nobody sits there and thinks, "Oh, I'm going to lose a limb one day." You know,
Right.
it just don't cross your mind.
Right.
um, you know, it wasn't until we got down to Texas in the Audie Murphy VA that the docs were coming in, and it was like, "Man, you're a big dude. Um, your right leg's injuries are pretty sufficient. You're not going to be able to feel your foot. So it's almost like having a BK on my right side. They said, you're probably not going to walk again. And he goes, and if you do, you're definitely not going to do it unassistedly, which means crutches, walkers, wheelchairs, stuff like that. And I don't know, man. It's just, you just kind of fall into a trance. Um, I stayed in the Audie Murphy VA from March until the end of September. I
Mm.
only got to go home for a couple weeks before I had another surgery and was right back in the recovery hospitals. Man, it's one of those things that you kind of sit down and you hope that, your family understands. You hope that you have the help that you need. And, you start looking up a lot of resources and stuff that's going to be out there for, disabled veterans and stuff like that. And,
Right.
you go through your depression parts, man, where you just cry. And you have those thoughts. It's like, should I even be here? Do I even want to be a burden on my kids and my family and stuff? Because when I first got home, man, I was dependent on a lot of people to live. I had to have
Right.
go grocery shopping, had to have people help clean the house, I had to have people cook my food. There wasn't a lot I could do. I came home 420 pounds, man. I couldn't hardly move, and it was very depressing. Um,
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't realize, the behind the scenes that happens, how much goes into it, and the support network that you have to, have to, help you through your trials and tribulations. And, obviously, we don't ever expect it to happen, and when it does happen, it's a freaking kick in the nuts, because you go from your normal everyday doing what you're doing, and like you said perfectly, we take the small stuff of going fishing and running around with our kids and all that kind of stuff for granted sometimes. And when you got to adapt your life so significantly to changes in your life, it can be very overwhelming. you know
Absolutely.
when did you ever have a point in your life when all of a sudden the beast mode switch went on? Because I see some photos and I've seen some videos of you competing and lifting and stuff like that. Can you remember at any point in time where you went, all right, time to flip the switch, and you started going after it?
It's funny you say that because I actually can. Um, Before that switch, though, just a couple things. Before that switch, my way of getting away from my issues was trying to fix everybody else's issues. We had a tattoo program. We had a radio network, Dangerous Grounds Network, which got pretty big there for a little bit. That was back in 2017, where you didn't have the cameras where you could see us, you could just hear
Right.
us. Um, had a lot of cool people on, but it's October 2020, man. Um, I I had just like started talking to one person and just teetotally got reamed. It was just a bunch of crap. People just messing with your head. And I was like, you know what? It's like I'm so sick of this. I was like, I'm tired of depending on other people. I'm tired of my kids looking at me a certain way. I'm tired of people saying they don't know how to act around me. They don't want to offend me, but then again, they don't want to disrespect me by not trying to help and whatnot. So me and
Right.
the walls in my house got very, very familiar. It's like the pinball game. The ball bounces off the damn things. That's how me and my walls were. I got up and I started at the little bar top of my kitchen, and I would bounce from wall to wall, wall to wall, and that went on for about 2 weeks straight. And it finally, I remember my son's birthday. It's October 12th, 2020, his 20th birthday. He came over. He started prepping some food. He was gonna go grill some food outside, and I had a smirk on my face. He's like, What's so damn funny?" I was like, "You'll see." So I went around the corner to the dining room area, slipped my leg on, got up on my feet, and come walking around the corner. Watch him drop to his knees and just start crying. He's like, "Oh my God, you're up. You're up. You're walking." And I was like, "Just a little bit, son." I was like, "Just a few steps," but I was like, "We're getting there."
Hmm.
And look on his face and the tears coming out of his eyes, like his dad's up again. He's actually able to look up at his father again. That really, really pushed it into overdrive. Uh, I continued to do that for the next month and a half. Um, December of 2020, I started getting out and about. The little convenience store down the street, the local grocery store right up the street, and when I got to the point where I could get from my truck inside the store and out, I started messing around in the gym. I was like, all right, let's try this. And the end of February of 2021, I walked into Planet Fitness in Belmont, and I have not stopped since. My walking gets better. Now I still have challenges. Like I said, I can't feel my right foot, so I can't balance and stuff. So when it comes to going up hills and down hills, I have to be very careful. I can't run. I can't. I don't have that stopping ability. But you know what? That's okay because me being able to get up and walk and go shopping and hold my wife's hands and be able to go see my kids do stuff at competitions and stuff means the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we hit that gym and we didn't stop, man. We from February of 2021 um, to after I got back from the National Wheelchair Games the first time, I went from 415 pounds down to 290. Uh,
Wow.
and ever since then, man, I've just been packing on the muscle. So
Yeah. Yeah, I can see. I see it in your photos when you're taking some gym pictures and some competitions, and you just recently had a competition, right?
yeah, the 2023 Palmetto Games down at Clemson University.
And what was your events in that one that you competed in, and what was the results on it? I know we talked about a little bit about it before.
Well, the Palmetto Games was just a regional qualifier. What that means is if anybody needs to have, you have to make the Paralympic teams, you have to compete in so many sanctioned events a year. and this is just a qualifier. You can go have your records put on throw. They actually have certified, officials out there to make sure everything's done correctly. I actually hit 2 PRs while I was out there, which means personal record.
Yep.
I throw for so if you don't know, if anybody doesn't know anything about the Paralympics, I throw shot put, disc, and I power lift. But I don't spin when I throw like you see these normal Olympians. I throw from a throwing frame that is anchored to the ground, and then I'm anchored to the chair so I don't fall out of it.
Gotcha.
We hit a PR with the disc last August at the DoD Warrior Games. Took silver medal with a 24-meter throw, and we hit 26.5 meters 2 weeks ago.
Holy crap.
Practice before that, I hit 30, but I can't count that because it's not on record.
Right.
So I'm saying anywhere between 26 30 meters, I throw the disc. And I actually had 2 gold medalists, shot putters out there giving me some coaching. They actually came out to kind of hang out with me. Which one of them was the official from the shot put that I took gold in at the Warrior Games last year. He was out there, Scott, and another guy named Mike, which they've been watching very, very closely. They see me coming in as the new F-57 after this Paralympic year. So we hit a PR. A little over 8 meters. Which that's an 8-pound ball sitting down, about 24 feet.
Yeah, that's impressive.
World record is somewhere around 14 meters. So we got a little bit to gain, and we'll get there. This is my second full year of competition, to where I've actually been coached and stuff like that. 2021 was just, I had the adaptive sports coordinator at the Salisbury VA. He said, "Hey man, you ever thought about the wheelchair games?" I'm like, "I never heard of them." And he goes, "Well, I see, your case manager says you're back in the gym, you're lifting weights and stuff." So I went to New York City August of 2021 for the wheelchair games, and I took silver in disc and bronze and shot, and I fell in love with it. And there was a lot more events. There's 22 events every year. So that's why I came home and got me a coach, and my coach is Adrienne Wilson. She's a 5-time world women's champion in the Highlander Games.
Nice.
Amazing adaptive sports coach. This year, I've built up a team around me. I got 2 really awesome strength trainers. I got a personal doctor that's a nutrition coach and works with the NFL and the NBA here in town. So we're just building up our resume, man, with people that we got coming in to get every aspect of what we need to have done correctly done. Like these guys do just as much as I do. Watch film, they see who the top competitors in the world are. They look at every little aspect of the muscles that we need to be training, so that way we're throwing, in our most efficiently. I mean, it gets down to some pretty big details.
Yeah,
But
that's pretty cool. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. And so, let me know, like, kind of like insight, and obviously I've always said you can't speak for somebody else if you haven't walked in their shoes. But a message that you have or you've been given to pass on to other veterans or special paraplegic athletes or other athletes in the games that you compete in, because I'm telling you, there's people that look up to you. There are people that look up to you, whether they're competing in the games or not. Your story is inspirational, and it's a testament to you as a person, and your family and the support network that you guys have, to push yourself beyond what the doctor said would be possible. And what is the message that you would have to anybody that wants to strive for the same thing?
oh man, first of all, I would say go to TikTok and look me up. SGT Big Country Official and go to my words of wisdom tag. I've been doing. I think I'm in like the 30s right now. I try to do a words of wisdom at least 5 days a week, and it is based off of everything that I've been through, the adversity, overcoming the adversity, the depression, and self love, self care, um, pushing past your abilities, being consistent with what you're doing and stuff like that. If you're in a spot to where you don't think you're able to do something, you're already in the wrong. Have you even tried it? Have you put yourself out there? Are you the type that's like, oh, I could never do that, and you're sitting on the couch, or are you the type that's went out there and tried it 4 or 5 times and saying that, well, at least I tried? Man, you'd be surprised what you learn about yourself when you push yourself. It ain't nobody else gonna do it for you. I mean, other
Right.
people give you tools, they can teach you how to do things, and I can speak to you all day long. But the bottom line is you have to do it. You have to put in the work. You got to find that determination and that motivation within yourself to push past that because it ain't easy. It's not. I wake up in pain every day. You know, um, life still throws its wrenches at you. Just because you're having a good week and stuff like that doesn't mean that there's life's normal problems don't come around. Bottom line is it's your life. You are in control of your happiness. You are in control of what goes on around your life. You are in control of who you have in your life. You need to make the decisions for yourself to be where you want to be. Sit down with a piece of paper and write out your goals and then write out your milestones. And each time you hit a milestone, make sure that you're celebrating that milestone. Doesn't matter how small it is. Could be 5 pounds lost this week, or could have could have made an extra 3 feet on a throw, or somebody could have got an A on a test. Celebrate those milestones because those are worth it. You're
Right.
putting in the work, you're putting in the time, you're making the sacrifices that you need to make to get to those ultimate goals. You need to celebrate yourself. It's
Yeah, I
it's
think that's
all
yeah, I
about
think that's well said, brother. Well said. Because I think a lot of times, like you said before earlier that you were still trying to figure out how to take care of everybody else around you. And I've talked about it before for myself. Getting out of active duty and being a police officer, and we just have that natural sense of service to everybody but ourselves most of the time, and we have to um, be more self-aware and be able to take care of ourselves as well and take the help when it's there and when it's needed, but the onus is on us to do the job.
absolutely
Flip that switch. You sometimes it takes a while, and sometimes you got to get through some mental hurdles. um, that's okay, that's part of the process. And even though like you start hitting goals doesn't mean that you just stop there, because you start setting new ones and you keep pushing yourself further.
right.
There's no perfect way to do it either. I think that people need to, that my life and your life to get to, if we had the same goal in mind, whether it's with school, whether it's with lifting, whatever the case may be, we're two different people. So my path to get there may be different than yours. But if we set the same goal, we can still achieve it. It's just that I need to reflect and have that self reflection to make sure that I'm doing everything I can, be the best version of myself to be able to get there.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's one thing that everybody forgets to is take some time for yourself and do something that makes you happy. You don't have to do it with people. It could be something that you just do by yourself to just be like, you know what, I've done a really damn good job this week. Could be 5 minutes at an ice cream shop, or you could go out for a beer or go out for a walk. You need to make sure that you're taking a few minutes out of the week and giving yourself a pat on the back.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm a firm believer too that, you know, you got to do it for yourself, not look for somebody to give you the pat on the back. And I'm going to be talking about this in a different episode, diving more in depth about it, because a lot of times that I see is when the true friends, the true support is around you 24/7. The ones that want to be there when you become successful only show up when they want to, and when
Yeah.
they think they can gain something from it. I just recently had that happen to me, and I've had it happen multiple times, but I recognize it immediately that your intent is poor, right? And it smells has it has a smell to it. It's like body odor. Like if your intent is poor, and you're not for me and with me, 100% of the time, and you only come into my life when you think you can gain something about it, from it. I don't need you in my life. You're
Right.
not a positive person.
Right.
You only want to, you want to shine a limelight on yourself as well and attach yourself like a leech. When I'm doing good things, being successful and helping others. And where were you when I asked you to start in the beginning? And I think people have to keep that in the back of their mind, realize the ones that are with you from the beginning and stuck through you and the ups and downs throughout the whole entire thing, not just came in when they felt like it. So
Absolutely. There's not really that many people that does that either, man. There's so many people that come in and out of the picture. It's not funny, but I can count on one hand right now who's been with me through this entire thing.
yeah,
Gonna be here.
yeah, and I feel like anybody that's very self-aware of themselves and know who they are and who they want to surround themselves with, uh, can recognize it a mile away. You recognize that bad intent a mile away. Um,
Sure.
so always, if you're going to, you know, be there for somebody, I think a lot of people have that mindset of, okay, well, I can only do this and I can only do that, to help you out. And then they kind of disappear, be that voice when they're at their lowest, not when they're always at their best. Be that person to rub shoulders with them when they're at their lowest, not always when they're at their best. Those are the people that I hold closest to me, because they helped lift me up, or kicked me in my ass and told me, hey, something's got to change.
Yep.
um, those are your true ride or die warriors, that you keep in your inner circle and appreciate more than sometimes we tell them. You know, but I appreciate you coming on. You got any events coming up that people can go check out, or some stuff you got going on with the lifting?
Yeah. The next event and will be the last one for this year is the National Wheelchair Games out in Portland, Oregon. I'll be out there from the 3rd through the 10th. Um, it's a week long. There's 22 events and there's over 500 athletes. I'm actually defending 2 gold medals, one in powerlifting and one in adaptive fitness. Hopefully they'll have the throwing frames anchored properly this year so I can actually throw. Last year they had them tied to cinder blocks, and every time they go to tighten it up, you watch the cinder blocks move. Then you got like 2 people trying to hold a chair, and I'm like, yeah, this ain't gonna work. They actually had three
Right.
people fall, and I mean I
Oh
still
wow.
place by just tossing it, but if I go do something, I like to do it at the full effect. But after that, man, it just I mean we go right back into training. I'll come home and take a couple weeks off, and then it's right back at it, getting ready for next year. Next year is going to be a very, very busy year. We got the Army trials and the Palmetto Games in April. We'll be out in Arizona in May for the Desert Challenge. We'll be at Thunder in the Valley in June in Michigan. Then we got the Peachtree Games in Georgia. Then we got the National Wheelchair Games again in New Orleans in July. And then we'll be at the DoD Warrior Games in August. So next year's pretty packed.
Right.
We got a statement to make next year. Getting ready to set up for nationals in 2026. I do want to take a second and give a shout out to a few people. One being my wife and my kids. You know, my backbone uh, carries me through everything. Rob Garcia with Shift Magazine, all the help that man's helped me with. Evolve Telemed, 5% Nutrition, um, Really Designs. They're the ones that does my merch. This is one of the shirts. We got like 7 or 8 designs out there. If anybody's wanting to have their way of donating, please go to my website, which is sgtbc.com. Go to the merch site and grab you a shirt or a tank top. We do have men's and women's wear. Um, just everybody who has like you were just talking about. The people that's been there with you through the entire time. Just a
Yeah.
big thanks to those people. They know who they are. It's a
Yeah.
lot. It's a little bit of a list, but you know, my coaches, my strength coaches. It gets better and better, man. We got a very very high goal to set. We hope to be in the 2028 Paralympics in Los Angeles. We were shooting for 2024, but uh, we're not gonna quite make it, which is okay. This is only our second year competing, man. We've had a lot to learn. Um, the people that were helping us in the beginning that aren't helping us now, that's kind of it's funny because it's like, oh, you got a new athlete coming in. Okay, here's X, Y, and Z that you need to know, and then they're like, oh, damn, he's really good. So let's not talk to him no more and tell him what he needs to know. So then you have
Right.
to research and do things on yourself. So,
Yeah.
but we got some big goals going on, man. You know, follow us on. We just got verified on Instagram, which was pretty cool. Got verified on Twitter too, but whenever I went and changed my profile picture, they had to review that with your information before they put the blue dot back up there. So things are looking really good, man. And to those out there, if you're going through a hard time and whatnot, you really need to sit down. You really need to look at yourself in the mirror. Tell yourself that you're a badass, and you're not going to let life's negative moments conquer your day. And you're going to go out there and be the badass that you are. Your happiness is
Right.
under your control.
Yep. Flip that beast mode switch.
That's right.
Yep. And I'll make sure that I have some of your stuff up on my website, so people, if they want to follow and everything, I'll throw your socials up there. That way they can follow you and like and share and comment on your journey. And I really appreciate you coming on, man. You, like I said before, you're inspiring. You inspire me. And I'm sure there's many other people that you inspire as well, and they aspire to be the best version of themselves because of the hard work that you're putting in. You may not realize, and other people don't realize, how many other people pay attention when good things are happening, and you can
Right.
change somebody's life, really, just by putting in the work and being the best version of yourself. You never know when you're going to inspire somebody.
Oh
So,
man, that right there. Somebody asked me. It's like, what is the ultimate high for you at all this? I was like, it's the people that I meet. I was like, of course we want to win the gold medals. Of course we want to be in first place and on top of the hill. But that right there, just going into the gym every day and certain people seeing you, that's fills my heart up when people are like, dude, I have no excuses on not to come anymore. And just like what you were saying, man, it feels really, really great. Just me doing what I do in my life to inspire other people. The documentary that was filmed that comes out in August, I think that's really going to help out a lot of people, man. So
yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, even when we're talking on the phone, like you're going to like the grocery store, your kids thing or whatever, and you got like people, you're just going along about your business, on the phone, and people are just like, "Oh, big country," you know. You're like, "Oh man, sorry about that." I'm like, "Man, I'm like on the phone with a celebrity right now," you know.
but that's the crazy part of it. My son will tell you that it doesn't happen too much more, because it is home. But now when we get out of town and we're traveling, man, it's just like, dude, I never thought I'd see you before. But you know what? If you're making the right impact on people, man, I love it. If I can keep that
Yeah,
going, that's one of the things I want to keep going, man. And show people that it doesn't matter what life plays in front of you, you can overachieve that.
Yeah, yeah, and there's no monetary amount that you can put on that. That
Right.
is truly priceless. Helping other people, motivating other people to be the best version of themselves and reach their goals and keep pushing forward in the darkest moments. We all go through it, and we all go through it maybe a little bit differently. But we do have those moments where we hit sometimes rock bottom, or we, get into a slump. And sometimes it's easy to get out of, and sometimes it's not. But as long as we're pushing forward and not going backwards, that's the key thing: is continue to push forward, and better days will come.
Yes, sir.
So I appreciate you coming on, Big Country. We'll keep in contact, and we'll have you on again. Once you get through some of your qualifiers and other games you compete in, so you can give everybody some updates and stuff. I appreciate you. I appreciate your family. You guys have a wonderful day. This is Everlasting Veteran. I'm your host, Ryan Landry. And if you haven't already, go check out Sky Hunter Outfitters. You can go to sky-hunter.com, official sponsor of Everlasting Veteran for Season 1 and Season 2. Appreciate you. This is Ryan Landry and Sergeant Big Country on Everlasting Veteran.
When the smoke clears, we're still standing. Yes, we stand our ground.
You're listening to Everlasting Veteran.
When the smoke clears.